Live from Greenwich, Connecticut, you're watching the greatest classic car show in the entire Northeast, the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance on BeTerrific. Welcome back, Terrifics, to your live coverage of the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance 2017, live here in Greenwich, Connecticut. This is my favorite car show, and one of the reasons why is because you get to see things you see nowhere else in the world, but you know that a lot of these cars not only are driven, but have been driven here, like those Bugattis we just saw before. And Dr. Rina is an amazing guy, and he's a neurosurgeon, really doing great things for people, but he also is a car enthusiast and has something very special here. This is a Ferrari 275 prototype.
Well, a long-nose prototype. So this car, the 275, when it first came out in what they call a short-nose version. And sort of midway in the production of the short noses, after about 150 cars or so, they made, or they started to switch into what's called a long nose version. Now the short nose car at high speeds started to lift up, and so they felt by extending the front of the car or making a longer nose, that would keep that closer to the ground. And so this is one of the earlier prototypes of the car. We think they made about 5 or 6 of the prototypes, and this probably was the second one made. But so it has features of both the long nose and short nose cars.
Is this what they would call a mule today, traditionally?
I'm not quite sure what you referred to.
Well, so when they take like an F50 and they put different body panels on it and they get it ready to be an Enzo, and they do some testing and stuff like that, they call it a mule car?
Well, I guess it's possible. I'm not quite sure what they did in the factory in the 60s in this regard, but probably they started first by making some of the race cars, the competition cars, with longer noses. And once they realized that that was something that had a sort of a better aerodynamics and it behaved better on the racetrack. Remember, Ferrari was a race car company that made production cars on the side to finance the sort of, finance the racing enterprise. So that a lot of things that were tested on the track successfully then made themselves, made the things way back into the sort of production.
Yeah, and in fact, folklore has it that Enzo didn't even like building production cars, just did it because he felt he had to.
Well, he needed the business. He needed to support the business of racing, which was quite expensive and continues to be to this day.
It still is.
I think now it's probably flip-flopped, where they make a lot of money on their production.
So this is a long nose. It doesn't even seem that long. When they finally made the car, was it longer than this, and this was an in-between stage, or is this?
No, this is the front of this car is pretty much identical to the final version of the long nose. What's different about it is the hood of the car and then the back of the car. So the back of the car has mostly what we call short nose features. The back window is shorter. There are hinges for the trunk, and they are inside on this car, where in the regular production long noses, they're on the outside of the car. And then this car has a racing sort of riveted gas tank that's in the middle of the trunk, where on the production long noses they sort of became a fiberglass on two tanks on either side of the inside of it.
It's really beautiful, and I like that it's kind of something different and it's in between. What's interesting to me is I would never think of a prototype having the fit and finish that this car has. And I guess that's how Ferrari does it. I haven't seen many Ferrari prototypes, especially older ones, in my life, but it's pretty cool, and I like the knockoffs. How did you find out about this car? How did you acquire the car?
So we talked a little bit about my professional, career. I met someone through my work, and I was introduced to a couple of gentlemen who have a very, very well-known shop. That's Frank and Santi Spadero, who have Dominic's Auto Body, which they take care of a lot of these cars in this area. And we spent some time talking together, and they knew of a series of cars that a gentleman had, that he had had these cars for about 30-plus years, and he was getting a little older, and so I started meeting with him, and we started talking, and I eventually wound up with this car.
Wow.
Basically, his wife finally said to me, "Going to sell the kid the car or what?" So.
Very nice. I could imagine you were very excited about it. Do you have a vast collection?
No. I'm one car at a time guy.
Yeah.
So I had one car that I restored, and I sold it, and I rolled it into a late 60s Aston that I restored, that I sold, and then rolled it into this. I don't have 20 cars. So.
And are you planning on keeping this, or a few years from now you'll part ways with it and look for the next project?
Well, right now I'm keeping it and enjoying it. I drive the car regularly.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who just leaves it in the garage and stares at it.
That's what I love, and that's awesome. How does it drive?
It drives beautifully. It's an amazing when you think about this is 1965 technology.
Yeah.
It's basically the car's the same age as I am, maybe a year younger than I am. It's incredible. It's fast. It handles incredibly well. The braking is fine. It's just it's a work of art. It's sort of a working work of art.
It absolutely is. Can we take a peek under the hood? Would
Yeah,
that be
sure.
possible? And maybe inside as well, as Ben makes his way to the engine bay. I'll take the microphone if it's easier for you. We can certainly take a look at that interior, which is gorgeous. You've got is this the original paint color, by the way?
No. So the car was originally a midnight blue, a dark blue, and then I think for much of its history the car was red, because in the 70s most people painted their Ferraris red, and it had a bright red interior. Then the older gentleman that I mentioned before, when he acquired the car, he had the car painted this color, which is a period color, but it was a color that he liked. And then when I got the car, I took out the bright red interior and put this is the original color interior. So it goes very nicely with this exterior color, but if I ever repainted the car, which I'm not quite sure I would because it's so beautiful, I'd put it back to that black-blue coloring.
And did you do a lot to restore it, or you pretty much got it in similar condition?
Well, the car has always been in good condition, and it's been well cared for, so there wasn't that much to do. I mean, just pretty much cleaning it up and then repairing the interior. But mechanically, it's been perfect for years.
Is it a V8 or
no?
It's a 12?
So these are 12-cylinder Carrara.
It's beautiful.
Cars. Many of the early Ferraris from the 60s, particularly the two-seater cars, are V12.
It's beautiful, and the engine is so clean. I don't know how you keep it that clean, but it's absolutely stunning.
I do very little as far as upkeep. This is the first time the car's been cleaned for this.
Really?
In any event, yeah.
Would it be possible? So one of the things about Ferrari, especially older cars, are that the engines sound so good. They have a great throaty exhaust. Would it be possible to have you start the car?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Even the luggage rack is gorgeous in there. So, wow. Look how gorgeous. Every little detail on this car is gorgeous. So we got to just let the fuel pump work for a second, and then we can get this beautiful car going. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
There it is. There you have it.
There.
Started right up. 50 years old, starts right up.
Oh my God. That's a Ferrari. That is a Ferrari. Give it a little gas. Oh. Wow, Doc, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That is unbelievable. Oh. That is what you dream about when you're a kid. That sound is what you dream about. When you were a kid, you dreamed about that sound?
Yeah, no, I love these cars. They're amazing. They're works of art.
They absolutely are. How did you get into cars?
I know, just ever since I was a kid, like any other, guy that loves cars, it just happens automatically.
It's certainly tremendous. It's just a beautiful, beautiful car. And I guess, you've always been into cars ever since you were a kid, and this is certainly a dream come true.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for chatting. Really great.
Thank you, Doc. Thanks for sharing this with us. Continue to enjoy the rest of the day. I'm Michael Artsis. You're the Terrifics. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more live coverage of the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance 2017 right here live in Greenwich, Connecticut. Stay with us. The Greenwich Concours d'Elegance on BeTerrific.